Здравей!
Здравей!
Как се казваш?
Аз се казвам Нана. Ти как се казваш?
Аз се казвам Каня. На колко години си?
Аз съм на 11 години. Ти на колко години си?
Аз съм на 10 години. Ти откъде си?
Аз съм от Сирия. Ти си откъде си?
Аз съм също от Сирия.
Lana and Kanyan are among the very few Syrian children in Bulgaria who attend language courses or any other school activities. The vast majority, more than 96%, do not, and in most cases have not for some time.
ما في مدرسة لا
няма училища.
صار 3 سنوات.
От 3 години не ходят в училище.
Still traumatized by the war, this man, living at the Voenna Rampa refugee camp on the outskirts of Sofia, declined to give his name. But his 5 children exemplify a growing risk that this generation of young Syrians will become a lost generation, brutally deprived of an education.
Well, there are more than 5 million Syrian children in Syria, in camps, including the children in Bulgaria, who currently don't attend school, either because they're refugees or because the schools don't exist anymore or because it's too dangerous for them to go to school. So without education, their options for the future are very limited.
And in this context, European solidarity is essential. It is very important that European countries all over the continent keep their borders open, accept Syrian refugees, provide them with adequate assistance, and also that within the European Union the forms of European solidarity are mobilized, especially when some countries like Bulgaria have more limited resources and are at the external border of the Union.
But that external border is now being ringed with a huge fence. More than 10,000 Syrian asylum seekers have come into Bulgaria, and the authorities want to prevent the arrival of others, including women and children. The reasons are both bureaucratic and political. The country lacks the administrative capacity to absorb the influx, and the rising tide of xenophobia makes it difficult to support or advocate for migrants, even if they are children. That worries Marina Trencheva, a volunteer with the Catholic charity Caritas, who works with refugees.
It's really wrong when sometimes people divide children. They are Syrians or they are Bulgarian, or no, they're after all they're children and they're just speak different language. There is no any other difference with them. I can say even that they're much more open-minded and positive because they feel that they need to adapt here.
State officials say the government is facilitating that adaptation for those who seek it.
По правило децата отиват в интеграционните центрове, 6 месеца изучават български език, а след това биват интегрирани към българските училища. В тази връзка МОН оказва абсолютно съдействие на тези центрове, където са необходими помагала, учебници за началните стъпки в български език.
Bulgaria has only one such integration center on the premises of the State Agency for Refugees in Sofia. It has been tasked with handling the education of refugee children. Поля Христова leads the center.
Съвсем скоро започваме един проект с помощта на Caritas България, Съюза на жените бежанки и регионален инспекторат град София, точно в целенасочено на тази тема, в която те ще ни помогнат за изработване на една нова гъвкава програма с учебници, учебни помагала за децата бежанци.
But education experts emphasize that the integration center cannot do the work of a conventional school. They say the Ministry of Education must play a greater role in making schools more accessible to refugee kids.
Училищата трябва също да бъдат отворени за приемане на деца бежанци. Смятам дори, че едно дете, ако посещава училище в класа, в който е там, по-бързо ще проговори децата, защото там ще е в среда с български деца. А тук децата са повече арабско говорящи. Място на децата е в училище. Там да бъдат курсовете по български език, защото с тези групи, които ние можем да предложим в момента, 2 или 3, няма да може да се обхване този голям брой деца.
But Milena Harizanova of UNICEF says the Syrian children face major hurdles, bureaucratic as well as linguistic, to enrolling in school, especially while their families wait to be certified as refugees.
The number of children who are enrolled in the Bulgarian school system is very low. It's 65 children as of December last year, and this is data provided by the Ministry of Education. For the rest, they're still in a process, and the main obstacles, as we are told by the Bulgarian authorities, is that according to the legislation, the children who have to prove their educational stage before being enrolled. So, for example, that they've graduated 2nd grade or 4th grade, 8th grade, and also they need to speak Bulgarian.
Those criteria can be difficult or impossible to meet, particularly for families that fled war in Syria and lack educational paperwork from back home. Education expert Красимира Христова is among those calling for the admissions procedure to be simplified.
Достъпа до образователната система, според мен, трябва да бъде децата след преминал такъв курс в агенцията ли ще бъде или в друга институция, да бъдат по-бързо определени според годините, на които са. Защото много често Министерството на образованието определя дете, което е над 12-14 години за 2-3 клас. И когато едно такова дете влезе в тази среда, то не се чувства комфортно.
It's only in a school, not in the integration center, where refugee children can study the full range of subjects they need for their educational development. Not just language, but history, science, math and art. Sally is one of the few refugee children who study outside the integration center, in a regular school, the 66th primary school in Sofia's Ovchakupel district. She says math is her favorite subject.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20.
Ayhana is 9 years old. When her schooling was interrupted 2 years ago, she was in 1st grade. Now she is enrolled in 1st grade again, also at 66th school. Along with learning Bulgarian, she loves to draw.
Защо рисуваш принцеси?
Обичам принцеси.
Обичаш приказки?
Да.
Те често рисуват къщи, искат да имат дом, искат да имат семейства. Тези принцеси са неизменна част. Принцесите в филмите, които гледат, излагат своите мисли, своите чувства. Това много им помага за адаптация, за интеграция. Те излизат извън тези свои трудности и емоции, които са преживяли по време на войната или по време още по-лошо, когато пътуват, защото всичко е неизвестно. И децата тук забравят за лошите неща.
Numerous pictures with the message of peace, help, solidarity, chance, freedom, each and every one of them is drawn by refugee children.
Има ли много дечица, които се нуждаят от помощ?
الأطفال بدهم مساعدة هون محتاج مساعدة؟
في أطفال كتير يعني مرات يبكوا على مثلا يبكوا على المصاري يروحوا عند أمهم ما
много дечица плачат тук за парите.
عشان هيك عشان الأطفال يعني.
10-year-old Sandy came to Bulgaria with her mother, Jihan Khadif, and her 2 siblings after losing her father to the war in Syria. She was in 4th grade back home, but no longer attends school. Living at Voenna Rampa in Sofia, one of the 7 accommodation centers for refugees nationwide, has firmed her resolve to become a doctor. An older refugee, Arya, was well on her way to the same goal, attending medical school in Aleppo.
I was studying medicine, I was in 2nd grade, but I can't finish my study because when we was in Syria and Aleppo, I was in university. My family was in the home. I was in university. My mother called me, come quickly because we want to leave. I said, okay, I'm coming. When I was leaving the university, they destroyed the same times. I thank God to be alive.
Now Arya lives at Voenna Rampa with nearly 1,000 other Syrian asylum seekers. This used to be a school, but the only classes held here now are a handful taught for kids by volunteers. The families are crammed into tiny spaces, living in terrible conditions as they await refugee status.
I just want to take it, make a passport and go travel out of Bulgaria. I don't want to stay here. Everybody here don't want to stay here. Maybe go to Germany, Sweden, have a new life, yes.
Yes.
I was studying medicine in Syria, so I want to complete my study there, Germany or Sweden, when I get there. Yes, this is my first goal.
Many at Военна Рампа share that goal, but Pepe Juranov, the top official at the camp, said most will be disappointed.
Всичките тук, които са настанени, са с надеждата, която бих казал, че е блян, да заминат на Запад. 90% от тях получават статут, хуманитарен статут. Не на беженец, а хуманитарен статут. Което означава, че за да отидат на Запад, те трябва да получат покана и от съответното посолство на държавата да извадат виза. Няма какво да се лъжиме, визовия режим е затегнат и още повече ще бъде затегнат специално заради тях. Защото това са хора без възможности, които, отивайки на Запад, ще се включат и и без това немалобройната армия от безработни на Запад.
Even the opportunities to work, rent an apartment, go to school or get health care that come with refugee status apply only for the country of entry, in this case, Bulgaria. Refugees have the right to travel throughout the EU, but if they stay in other countries, they will be on the fringes of society and the edge of the law. Still, many aspire for mobility, and this too can undermine efforts at educational integration. The Finka Moneva teaches at the Integration Center.
Тези деца не са абсолютно постоянни, т.е. при тях има движение. Те се записват, родителите изразяват желание, особено тези, които живеят в центъра тук, но по-късно някои деца отпадат, нямат желание, предпочитат малко по-спокоен живот, да играят повече навън, а да учат. Те идват от една чужда страна, там са били в училище, но тук те не го приемат като едно задължително.
That doesn't apply to Hala Mahdi. She herself is taking courses in hairdressing, and she wants her children to go to school, the better to become part of Bulgarian society.
Yes, I want to stay here because my children speak Bulgaric here and love it Bulgaria here. I don't go anywhere.
Education, besides the knowledge, it also is a way to normalize the life for the children, to make it look a bit better, given that they've lost families, they've lost their homes, that they've lost everything that was around them.
Other obstacles to education and social interaction are less traumatic, but no less daunting.
По въпроса за посещенията в училище, искам да кажа, че и финансовия въпрос също не е малък. Когато едно семейство има 3 или 4 деца, дори транспорта само до Държавната агенция за бежанците, ако трябва да извади само картите, също не е малък проблема.
12-year-old Amina takes the bus daily by herself to attend language courses at the Integration Center. Until last year, the State Agency for Refugees provided financial assistance to families like hers, paying travel and other expenses to foster educational integration. An additional 35 leva per month, about $24, was available for each child attending school, and the families of first graders got a one-time payment of 150 лева.
Програмата е за 100 човека. До сега така беше, в това число и деца. 300 хиляди лева. И трябва да ви кажа, до сега беше за 100 човека. Сега вероятно вече ще се увеличи тази бройка и ще набъбне и самата цифра на програмата.
Instead, the program has been eliminated. Now asylum seekers receive only 65 leva per month, or about $45 for each family member, to pay for food, medicine and all other needs. There is little money for things like transit fare to schools in the city center. Poverty is likely to increase tensions in the refugee camps, with potentially terrible consequences, says Pepe Juranov, the director and only state official at Военна Рампа.
Тук са настанени представители на най-бедните и най-западнали краища на сирийското общество. Большинството от тях са неграмотни, нямат някаква квалификация, нямат професии. Езиковата бариера е невероятна. Нямат никакви шансове да си намерят работа навън. Което добавено към факта, че на такова малко пространство са затворени близо 1000 души с различни интереси, различни наклонности, различни поведенчески навици, е Бомба с закъснител.
Bulgaria, the poorest member of EU and NATO, lacks the resources to curb this growing frustration on its own, Juranov says. He believes the international community should step in. UNICEF agrees. It has launched an urgent appeal to rescue this generation of children.
It's estimated that the amount needed is around $1 billion. So UNICEF is calling to the governments to engage and to provide these funds to build schools in Syria and in camps, to ensure safe spaces for the children, to train teachers, to provide school materials.
This tent was put here by the UNHCR. School activities were supposed to be held here, but as you can see, the situation is a bit different.
Курсовете се водят от доброволци, не професионалисти. Няма единна програма, няма учебници, които да са съобразени с техните изисквания.
The basic living conditions here are very far away from any civilized standards. So as you can see, it is very difficult to live here, let alone study.
Not only in terms of education, but most of the rights of the children are kind of affected being here. So, for example, the access to health is not ensured, the access to psychological assistance and support is also not ensured. These children are in a greater risk of violence, trafficking.
Bulgarian authorities acknowledge the problem and say they will address the dire situation step by step.
Имаме една чудесна покана от областния управител на град Монтана. Говорим за град Вършец, където там ще бъдат приета една значителна част от тези непридружени деца-беженци. Тоест, там е комуникативно самото място. Те ще имат достъп до здравеопазване, до образование.
Има схващане, че на общините, в които се заселят такива беженци, ще им се отпускат някакви средства специално за беженците, за да могат да бъдат интегрирани към българското общество. Защото ако им дадеме на ръка пари за помощ, това означава, че тези пари са безвъзвратно загубени и няма да изпълнят предназначението си за интеграция.
Such initiatives show the government playing catch-up on a problem it did not anticipate, and for which it was wholly unready. Until 2013, the State Agency for Refugees granted refugee status to about 600 people a year. Now there are more than 10,000 waiting for a decision. Bulgaria's bureaucracy and its refugee rules were simply not built for this.
След като получи статута, в двуседмичен срок трябва да представи договор за наем на външен адрес. Този адрес да се впише в писмо до общината и да започне процедура по издаването на български документи на този адрес, който го посочи. Финансовото им положение не позволява те да издадат на външен адрес, което автоматично поражда затворения кръг. Нямат пари, не могат да издадат, не могат да получат български документи.
Practically speaking, this turns refugees into hostages of administrative chaos, coupled with economic burdens and social hostility.
It's really important to see the relation like human to human, not Bulgarian to Syrian or I don't know, black to white or Muslim to Christian.
In the meantime, Syrian adults and children here face an uncertain future. Food comes mainly from donations. Refugees don't have to pay for the electricity, heating and water they use in the camps. But there are hidden costs, says Arya, the former medical student.
We are here 70 people who use the same bathroom and the same toilet. It's so dirty. We are scared about sickness and became like illness here.
These risks are immediate and real, but there is a long-term danger as well. And it grows greater the longer refugee children lose out on an education. The risk that hundreds of thousands of young Syrians will not become doctors, teachers, engineers and entrepreneurs able to help restore their country when peace finally comes. This, Arya wants Bulgarians and Europeans to know, is what she and her compatriots here dream of.
Believe me, I don't want to stay outside because It's my country, it's my home. I used to be there. My friend there, all my life was there. I lived when I was baby, I was there. So I will return, I will live all the Europe for my country.
Okay.
Everybody will do this.
Reporting for Transitions Online, I'm Ivaylo Spasov.